In less than 4 months, it will be the start of October, most people's beginning of the Halloween season. But for many of us, Halloween begins long before. I'm talking like right as we wrap up 4th of July. And as fun as it is to go decor hunting and decorate your home with all the spooky things, there are a lot more ways to enjoy Halloween, one of which I really love is Halloween horror or like Halloween adjacent movies. Here are 7 movies that are perfect for any Halloween lover that are on my radar that will be coming out in July, August, September, all the months up until Halloween. The first highly anticipated Halloween movie for me is gonna be The Haunted Mansion, which is releasing July 28th. So The Haunted Mansion follows a single mom named Gabby who hires a tour guide, a psychic, a priest, and a historian to help exorcise her newly bought mansion after discovering it is inhabited by ghosts. As an avid Haunted Mansion ride lover, I have known that this movie has been in the works for quite some time. Honestly, I didn't hate the first one. I think the first movie was good. Like, I thought it was the perfect kind of medley of serious and funny, which kind of encapsulates the ride itself with like having the darkness in the beginning and then the more like comical side at the end of the ride. But critically, this movie was panned. So I think there are a lot of people who were eager to have a redo of the Haunted Mansion movie. And I think that there are a lot of opportunities that Disney can take if they really go in the direction I think that would make the most sense for this kind of movie. This is the kind of movie where like I want to see as little of the trailer as possible. I just watched the teaser and you get a good idea of like who is going to be the actors in this movie. I think that they're a great ensemble. I think Rosario Dawson is a fantastic actress. Her little son in the movie seems so adorable. It's clear by the trailer that there is going to be some comedic elements to this movie, which rings true to the first one. I love that the trailer showcases some really like classic, iconic elements of the dark ride at Disneyland. And my hopes for this movie is that I really do hope it has high stakes and really great acting and plot developments like that of Pirates of the Caribbean. You have the same production studio creating this second Haunted Mansion. So I hope, because I really like the first few movies of the Pirates franchise, so I really hope you see all of that shine through, that high caliber production and acting in this reboot of the Haunted Mansion. And I also really hope you do see Constance Hatchaway, that Black Widow bride, because she's such a fascinating character. I'd love if they included her backstory. I don't think she will take center stage. I just hope that she does though, because she's one of my favorites. The second movie I'm really looking forward to is actually releasing on the same day, July 28th, and that is A24's Talk to Me. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill, until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. I think Talk to Me is going to be a movie that is very much like intense, but I don't think graphic. I didn't get that vibe from the trailer itself. The vibe I got from Talk to Me's trailer is kind of reminiscent of Bodies, 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 which I watched just a few weeks ago this summer. The hand is disturbing in this movie. That is at the center of all the supernatural stuff. I don't think the cursed item aspect of this plot is the most unique, but I do think the hand itself is really unique. Although cursed item books and movies are out there, I really hope this movie gives me the really interesting, toxic, over-the-top friend group dynamic that I got in Bodies, 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 which I totally loved and found to be just ridiculously entertaining. Moving forward to movies that are coming out in August, we have 2. The first one is Meg The Sequel. Pitted against colossal Megs and relentless environmental plunderers, our heroes must outrun, outsmart, and outswim the merciless predators in a pulse-pounding race against time. There was more to that premise, and it is all just like so wild and melodramatic, but I think that's very much this movie. At the time of filming this, I watched Meg like 2 days ago. If you look it up on Rotten Tomatoes, you see that it has like a 40%-ish rating for both critics and audiences, which I just don't understand why. I thought it was great. I loved the dynamic of all of the characters. I thought things were really intense and suspenseful. I thought the graphics, CGI, whatever they did for effects was really effective. And the only critiques I can see about that movie kind of center around the pacing and the movie needing probably to end way sooner, as well as maybe there being way too many characters. That's not a big deal for me in movies as it would be for books. I'm learning I'm quite a big fan of animal attack movies and books, and I found myself being really excited when I watched this trailer for the first time. The trailer kind of gave me a very kind of comical, almost slapstick tone for this sequel. I don't know if that's gonna be how it plays out, but I do hope the stakes stay really high. I hope the acting gets a little bit better. Like there is some like really cringe acting that went on in that first movie. And I really did find the friendship dynamics in that first movie very charming. So I hope that continues. And I also hope that they do use humor to kind of like cut the tension. I find that, you know, I'm not a big fan of action or action stars, but I think Jason Statham has to definitely be that exception for me because he's just so like safe and capable, but also like rough, but with like a heart of gold. I've been in a huge like underwater deep sea water horror mood, and this will definitely give me what I need in late summer to really enjoy the last few drops of Summerween. The Last Voyage of Demeter, which is releasing on August 11th. Based on a single chapter, The Captain's Log from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel, Dracula. The story is set aboard the Russian schooner Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo from Carpathia to London. The film will detail the strange events that befell the doomed crew as they attempt to survive the ocean voyage, stalked each night by a terrifying presence on board the ship. When it finally arrived near Whitby Harbor, it was derelict. There was no trace of the crew. I've been seeing trailers for this movie for quite some time, as early as I want to say like January when I was watching Meg in theaters, and I knew instantly like this movie, yes, has my name written all over it. Really just like find myself in such like a vampire mood these days, and I think that this is a really unique premise and way of approaching this novel because there have been many film adaptations to reimagine Dracula and also to reimagine a story that we all know so well at this point. The mood that the trailer gave off to me is definitely like dark in tone, dark in coloring. And it's interesting that we already know on the outset that like nobody on the crew survives. And I was kind of disappointed that the trailer did show Dracula, the creature. I'm like, ugh, why would you do that? I like the suspense and I like the mystery. And so when you actually do have that reveal in the movie, it is all the more impactful. It's just a funny experience knowing that like you already know the outcome before you watch. So I'm curious how they keep us engaged as we do watch, because us viewers know that nobody really makes it off the ship. So I'm curious to know how the filmmakers are gonna go about making this something that keeps our attention throughout the course of this whole movie. Our fifth movie is A Haunting in Venice, which comes out September 15th in theaters. In post-World War II Venice, Perrault, now retired and living in his own exile, reluctantly attends a seance. But when one of the guests is murdered, it is up to the former detective to once again uncover the killer. I absolutely love the atmosphere of this trailer. I've watched the first movie that he appeared in, which was, I think, like Death on the Nile. I'm not a big Agatha Christie fan, but I did love that movie's like atmosphere, its setting, everything was just beautiful, the costuming. And if you make that spooky, which is exactly what this movie is, I think, intended to do, yeah, I'm here for it. Totally interested in this movie, especially since the architecture, set design, the atmosphere of the trailer was just totally gorgeous, and a lot of really interesting actors are also cast in this movie too. Funnily enough, it was odd to see Tina Fey in the trailer, so curious to see how she does a more dramatic role. I don't have too many expectations for this movie. I just really hope it doesn't do some like bait and switch thing where it makes it seem, like many mysteries do, that there is some like horror, spooky, supernatural element, and then come to find out it was somebody just like kind of puppeteering it all. That's always a letdown for me personally. So hopefully there's something a little bit more interesting there in the mix. Now we finally come to October. There are 2 movies as of right now that are releasing in theaters in October that I am so excited to go see. The first one is the sequel to The Exorcist. The premise says that this is a sequel to the 1973 film about a 12-year-old girl who is possessed by a mysterious demonic entity. forcing her mother to seek the help of 2 priests to save her. I haven't come across a trailer, so I can't really provide you any information on that. I searched and I really did try to find something. I didn't really come up with any information, but I think this is a really great opportunity for me to finally see the first movie in its entirety. On October 27th, we see the release in theaters of Friday Nights at Freddy's. A troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift at Freddy's won't be so easy to get through. There is something so kitschy, so Halloween about this movie. If you didn't know, it's based off of a middle grade series of books that I've never read. It wasn't a thing when I was growing up. I don't know when it was released, but I've always seen the covers and been really interested in giving them a shot, and I think I definitely will either before or after this movie comes out. There is a trailer, and I love that I got to see Josh Hutcherson. I think he is a wonderful comedic actor, so it's nice to see him in some new movies. We also did see the really quick face of Matthew Lillard, the horror king himself, and those retro vibes. I think it is set like in the 80s or 90s. They are amazing. I don't have too much information beyond what the premise shares, but the trailer did offer some interesting elements that made me think about Chuck E. Cheese, which was actually founded in the town I live in. I don't know if it's going to be really horror. I think there is a potential with the tone of the trailer for this to be actually a really scary movie that's not necessarily for children, which honestly would be really cool. I like that it might go into some really dark places. And I'm honestly tempted to read some of the books beforehand so I can get a little taste of the characters, maybe some backstory that will help me enjoy this movie all the more. I'm sure there are many spooky movies that I missed that are coming out between now and Halloween. Let me know which movies those are so I could add them to my list. And let me know if you're looking forward to any of the movies that I'm also highly anticipating. I'd love to chat with you in the comments below. If you're looking for more Halloween vibes, definitely check out my most recent haul video that is summertime themed. I have a lot of really great horror and Halloween items that I recently picked up throughout the spring months that I had so much fun sharing with you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!